So guys, we're back again. I told you soon that I was gonna talk about the new engine setup. Here's kind of a clue. That's kind of what we're gonna be getting into in this video, is the new engine setup that we have for 2023. Obviously this is just a mock-up, but I'm gonna show you some of the pieces and stuff that I've got for this. It's gonna be at the machine shop for a considerable amount of time, so I've got a mock-up block to do the header, turbo mounting, all that sort of fabrication. But we're gonna just talk about this setup because it's kind of a cool one, I think anyways, in this video. Alright guys, so for you guys that have a keen eye for engine components anyways, you'll notice that this is not an LS valve cover, and those aren't LS intake ports. And these aren't, obviously an LS manifold flange. This is an LT head mounted onto the old LC9 block that I had in the car for this 2022 season. Really, I'm just using this as a mock-up block because this block's already converted to 1/2 inch. So I'm gonna kind of take you guys around and tell you all the specifics. If you guys watch the performance industry, BTR is actually coming out with a cam for this that'll make it more mainstream. I've actually had a cam for this build since 2021. I ordered it in November of 2021, but I've just been kind of like waiting for the aftermarket to pick up the small bore, small chamber head, like they do on the LS. You can buy, AFR 220s or 225s, or there's a couple other brands, Trick Flow, but alas, no one has came to market with a small bore cylinder head. So I'm going to end up converting, these are the old heads, the old LS heads. I'm going to end up converting a set of L83 heads, which is over here in my junk pile. They're not junk, it's just my stuff's all over the floor, excuse my mess. Got a bunch of L83 heads. I've got some more in the other room on the other mock-up motor that I had that I'm not using as a mock-up because it's not ready for 1/2 inch studs. So I had this engine for sale, and sorry to get sidetracked. I had this engine for sale, complete intake all the way down to the pan, and I got a bunch of people that really weren't serious about buying it, like trade me, a dirt bike, or I don't know. I just got some really random offers, and I'm like, yeah, it'll save me money anyways to like steal the pan off of it, steal the oil pump, all those parts that I know are good. I'm not going to be running the LS7 lifters, but I really need to put a set in my daily driver truck, so I might end up taking them out and putting them in the whole rig. Yeah, so just, to help the budget, I'm going to probably steal a bunch of these parts and keep, the trunnion kit, the push rods that I had for spares, the lifters, obviously I said we were going to go in my truck. Yeah, so anyways, let's get into the talking about the conversion needed to put these LT heads on. Obviously I'm not going to be running port injection, I'm only going to be running port injection, so the direct injection will be deleted. But the biggest thing to get these to fit is the location dowels for the block and the head are in this top row towards your intake. On the LS, they're down here. So if you guys have stuck around the channel, you know that I have a TIC fixture. This is a TIC Performance 1/2 inch head stud fixture, and they make a cutter to cut that dowel into the bottom row. So once again, excuse my mess. That is this guy. So I've already done this side, obviously. Got it mounted up. I've got the engine plate clearance for my header. I'm going to probably clearance it a little bit more, but my end mill that I had for my routers, I've been cutting this with the router. Kind of gunked up and it didn't love life, so I ended up cutting this with a grinder. It didn't really work that well, so I've got the other head off. I'm going to set up the camera and show you guys how easy it is to convert it. And honestly, I thought I was going to, on an LS head, you'd have to drill out every single head stud hole on this engine, you know, every one of them the whole way down to 33/64, so it'll fit a 1/2 inch head stud through it. On these, the head studs are already bigger, so they just fit right through. I'll show you guys that. These are the tick head studs that I have. So you see this fit right through. No drilling necessary. So I'm gonna grab one of these heads, get it set up, and get the fixture mounted to it. Cut those sleeve holes out for the dowel. I'll be using this, obviously. I'm gonna get the camera set up and show you guys that process. It doesn't take very long at all. Hopefully you guys can see this. Like I was saying, this fixture has dowel holes on it. And like I told you on these heads, they're opposite of the LS. The LS would be up here. These ones are down here. So you just put your dowel alignment studs in. And then I just run this cheap little clamp in there. That's usually good enough. Kit comes with a bunch of these different, I don't know what you'd call it, drill guide maybe. This is the one I need. 33/64. Then I need this cutter. And I need one of their little screws. And my drill guide. It's drilled the whole way in. And we just come over to the other end, do the other one, and then we're ready pretty much to clean and put the head on there. Alright, essentially we're done. Just gotta clean it up. Do that off camera because my camera's dead. And we'll commence to throwing the head on there. Alright guys, I didn't record because my camera was dead. Some of the downfalls of this cylinder head on an LS is obviously the overhang. So my engine plate actually had to clearance out for where the head was. And I think I'm probably going to cut this straight so I can pull the head on and off. Most of the time on the 1/2 inch head stud motor, I pull the studs out anyways. because obviously I can't get it out with the brake master cylinder there and all this stuff. But I guess this is the segment where I show you guys some of the parts and stuff I've been collecting for this over the years. I actually started building this motor, or like had the thought of it in my head, in 2021, which is when I ordered the cam. Another downfall, which BTR is actually, I think, finally doing something about. They're gonna make like a shelf cam for the reverse valve orientation. So on these LTs, the intake and exhaust are flip-flop from an LS, so you can't just use a standard cam because your intake cam lobe would be pushing your exhaust, and it wouldn't run. Other than that, that's pretty much it on getting them to run. Obviously, I'm not going to run direct injection like I said. I'm going to run a block off. Let me shut my heater off real quick, and then I can take you in the room where all my other parts are. Alright, hopefully you can hear me. So this is my other mock-up block. Hopefully the blower isn't super annoying, but this is a performance design intake. It's real carbon on the lid, and then the bottom is ABS, or not ABS, nylon, glass filled nylon or something. And here's the thing that makes the magic, which is a Smallwood Race Development custom ground billet cam. So when I bought this cam, it's spec for this combo, but when I bought this cam, it took like 5 months to get. I ordered it in 2021, got it in 2022. When you go and have to deal with getting a billet, they what would it be called, rough grind it out of a chunk of steel. Then they send it out to be surface hardened, because you know you need that in a cam. And then they come back and finish grind it and polish it, and then they send it to you. So it's got to go through a lot of hands to get anywhere. Whereas if BTR starts selling these LT/LS cams, then you can just buy what you want, and they'll hopefully have a valve, a cam profile that they can cut it into. So yeah, this is basically the same setup. LC9, L83 heads. I'll show you guys some of the other parts where it's less noisy, hopefully. Oh, I walked past some already. I don't really want to show my address. Not that I'm not huge fans of you guys, but I got boxes over here. So these are the top fuel hoops. If you can see it, they're stainless, one continuous piece. Copper head gaskets from Flat Out, and something a little bit different for this engine. It's not going to be like a traditional just 325 inch or 328 or whatever a 3.8 bore 5.3 is. It's going to be a 3.8 bore 3.9 stroke. So I ordered some custom pistons, which these took forever to get as well. And they are, sorry, I'm just showing you guys my quad. They are cut for the valve orientation of the LT from Wiseco, obviously. But they are, the compression height on them is changed so that I can run a standard 6/125 rod. So like I was telling you, 3.9 stroke. Normally a LS is 3.622 stroke. So it'll be around 350 cubic inches. Just a little bit over stroke versus bore. I just feel like the extra couple of cubic inches will be more beneficial for me than, you know, obviously just running a standard 5.3. So these are a shelf piston, and you can do a one change on them, which is what Smallwood Race Development did, was basically talk to Wiseco and told him, hey, I want this compression height so that he can use this 3.9 stroke with a 3.622 stroke rod length, essentially. So it's a standardized 6/125 rod, which everybody uses in these LSs. So that's one of the big things. The other one's the intake, like I showed you, for port injection. And then obviously I've got these Speed Engineering headers. These are just a Chevelle slash like everything under the sun LT 4-swap header. I think it's C10, Chevelle, Camaro. They're just shorty headers, but they'll work good. They're tight fitting, and they seem like, I'm a guy that likes to keep the coils up top, so they seem like they're super easy access for the plugs, where I won't be struggling like a set of up and forwards like that. They're a nightmare to have your coils up here still. So mainly I'm just waiting on a couple pieces. One of them is the crank, and the other is rods and lifters. I'm gonna go with the Johnson link bar lifter. Well, you guys can see my face. I'm kind of putting this piston back. I'm not very good at multitasking. Johnson link bar lifter. Oh, I haven't showed you guys a turbo. Let me do that. Let me actually set it up, because this turbo is massive. So I think you guys remember that I was running a S480 turbo that was mounted kind of here. Now I'm gonna probably mount it in somewhat of the same place, but it is a big boy. Yeah, let me actually set it up here, hopefully without all my junk falling off the table. Once again, excuse my garage being filthy. I don't think I can understate or overstate how big this turbo is. I'm a pretty big guy, and like, it's a 118 exhaust wheel. This is a VS Racing G57. Billet center section, made in the USA. They don't even advertise this turbo, but it's just like a custom shop one, and I ordered it, and I don't know, I kind of expect big things. It's probably way bigger than this engine needs. So now is the time in the video where I just kind of catch you guys up on all the generalities of what I'm doing. Obviously, you're kind of up to date right now of what I'm doing, and I gotta get the other parts, send a block to the machine shop, have it cut for fuel hoops, fit the pistons to a 3/8 bore, obviously, bore it out to 3/8, and just get everything kind of in motion. I've got the front end stuff all kind of put together. I want to actually do a nice job and powder coat it, so it'll all be broken back down eventually. And there's not much else to tell you guys. I guess I do have a surprise. I don't really know when it's going to get here. I think all you guys that have been watching the channel know that I'm not brand biased at all. Like, I like engines in general. I'm fascinated by mechanical things. Whether it be, you know, guns, equipment, stuff like that. It's good for my brain to like be around it. And so this is going to stay a street car. I don't have any intentions of ever making this not a street car, and it doesn't make any sense for me to not have this as a street car. So I have another car kind of in the works that I haven't started working on yet, but I just bought a motor that I didn't think I would ever be able to afford. And I'm going to start piecing that together over the years, and then build a tube chassis car that is capable of doing what this car won't. Hopefully if I start out with something that is a legit tube chassis car that I can't drive on the street. I won't want it to be a street car, and I can just do exhibition stuff. I don't have the money or the time to just go and just compete all the time, and at the level that that engine is. It's a alcohol Hemi. I really don't have the money. But my plan is, if I can put a small tire tube chassis car together, I can have it make 2,000, maybe a little bit more horsepower, and it'll live hopefully for a while with the turbo setup. I know some of them guys that run a similar setup, they, push 3,500 horse, and it's on a big tire. I have zero interest in going to a big tire chassis of any sort, because I know my limits of what I can tolerate, brain wise, monetary wise, time wise. I'm a small tire guy. I don't plan on changing that. So, it'll be just something that, obviously it's not going to be a Mustang or anything. I've got a chassis in mind, but it'd be something I'll have to build because nobody builds them. So as you know, I like weird stuff, and that's kind of just me. So anyways, I want to keep you guys held up on the outro here, but I want to thank you all for watching. If you guys have any questions about this swap, I'd be happy to help and try to justify it. Like I've told people in the past, until the cams become affordable, it's not something that I would recommend. And now that Brian Tooley's coming out with a line of cams for that setup, I do think it's more feasible. I don't know what the price point is on them, but I'll tell you that one-off cam was like $800, and it was, I think it was 4 or 5 months to wait. So just kind of is what it is. I would probably lean you towards, if cams aren't more affordable, to just get a Gen 5 and put that together. I have all these Gen 4s, which is why I did this, and I'm weird. I like being weird mostly. That is why I did it. But thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one, and have a nice day.